We couldn't do this without you, and I can't thank you enough for representing the National Flood Insurance Program so well. 2018 was a very challenging year, and you guys knocked it out of the park. You've been on this journey with us for the last couple years to be more customer-centric, more customer-focused, and provide great service to our policyholders. And I think we're doing that, so I appreciate that greatly. So FEMA's mission is to help people before, during, and after disasters, and you're a huge part of that. So I never think about it as a claim. I think about it as a family, and you guys are helping a lot of families across this nation. So the National Flood Insurance Program is here to provide customer-focused flood insurance to help survivors and their communities effectively recover from flood events. We have a strategic plan element. It's goal 1.2 of our strategic plan, which is to double the amount of flood coverage in this country by 2022. So why is that important? It's like Groundhog Day every year. This is my third year in this, helping lead the National Flood Insurance Program for me. And every year, have you guys seen the movie Groundhog Day? Every year it's like Groundhog Day. I go down to a disaster, we do a ride along. So I'll tell you about my experience last year in 2018. We were in New Bern, North Carolina. Huge, devastating flooding there from Hurricane Florence. And we get to the site a little bit early. And I try to dress down, and I'm not a very dressy guy, so it's pretty easy for me. Jeans and a FEMA shirt. And I'm just standing around with a couple of my staff, and we see all the debris, the whole street. And you guys have seen it, piles of debris. People can't describe it, you know it. The smell of mold and mildew. And we're just standing there, I'm taking some pictures with my phone. And this lady's looking out across the street. And she comes out across the street and says, "Hey, what are you guys up to? What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I work at FEMA. Your neighbor here had flood insurance. We're here to make sure that she has a great experience through this claims process, and we hopefully will take care of her." And she goes, "That's great. I don't have flood insurance." I said, "Why don't you have flood insurance?" And she said, "Well, I don't live in a high-risk area." And I looked down the street, and the watermarks and the debris piles, and I thought, but this happens every year. Every time I go out, whether it's Louisiana or Texas or Florida or North Carolina or the Midwest, it's the same thing. I didn't think I needed it. So, lady says, "You're from FEMA, what can I do?" And I said, "No, you can register for individual assistance. Go to disasterassistance.gov, and we'll see what we can do." And she said, "How much does that pay?" And I said, "Well, last year in 2017, from Harvey, the average individual assistance was about $4,000. And mostly that's for temporary housing, temporary assistance." And she said, "That's it?" And then I thought, she said, "Can I have more?" And I kind of looked at her and said, it doesn't quite work that way. Every circumstance is different. Please go to disasterassistance.gov. But we did the adjustment. And that family that had flood insurance, we were probably going to pay about $110,000. So my heart goes out every year, and I want to break this Groundhog Day cycle where folks don't think about flood insurance as I'm in or out of the special flood hazard area, but it's valuable. It protects my home and my family. So I always think, I have 2 young kids at home, which family would I rather be? And that's why goal 1.2, the FEMA strategic plan, closed insurance gap, is so important. And you guys are a huge part of that, because if you do an exceptional job, which this claims adjuster did during my walkthrough, what do you think that lady is going to tell her neighbors? This was a good experience. This was worthwhile. You should buy flood insurance. And more people will be protected across this nation. And you guys are the face of that. So thank you for doing a great job last year. Let's keep it up, and let's try to close that insurance gap. So I'm here to talk about some of the great transformations we've done, and also where we're going to go to be a better, to focus on customer experience and become a world-class insurance operations, which I think we're on our way to be. Again, thank you for being in the journey with us over the last couple of years. I think we've made great strides. So in 2018, experienced kind of a different season. You know, we saw a 70% reduction in claims reported from 2017, but we adjusted claims coast to coast. And it started with mudslides in California, followed by Hurricane Lane in Hawaii, flooding in central Texas and the Midwest, and then other areas. And it ended with Hurricane Florence and Michael that devastated parts of Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. In total last year, we received over 40,000 claims, and we paid out more than $1.3 billion. When I say 40,000 claims, I think 40,000 families we helped. So we appreciate your focus on and dedication to delivering world-class service to the policyholders, and we want to thank you for putting policyholders back on the road to recovery through quick and efficient claims processing and handling, and also exceptional customer service. So I'll ask you, who do you think the face of the National Flood Insurance Program is? The good news is it shouldn't be me, and it's not. I don't think you want me to be. You guys are. So back to my experience in New Bern this last year. I went into the home, we did the ride along, we kind of walked through the home. And what I found was the claims adjuster was really knowledgeable and really patient. Explained the process, knew what was covered and wasn't covered, helped the policyholder understand what information she needed to provide, offered an advance payment. And what really resonated was she kind of knew him. And you know why? Because he had talked to her on the phone several times before that visit. So he took the time to really understand the policyholder. So on the way out, the lady says, "I don't know who you are." She just sees my FEMA shirt. She says, "I hope I never see you again, because I don't ever want a disaster in my house again." I said, "No offense. A lot of people say that to me. It's okay that you never want to see me again." But she hugs the adjuster and says that he's been fantastic. Right? $110,000 later, she's on her way to recovery. It's still not fun, but we help a lot. And that was a great experience. So you guys are the face of this, not me. You guys touch our citizens and our policyholders each day. So thank you for that. We also did something really interesting. You know, with a lot of the things we did 2 or 3 years ago to try to provide better customer experience, to make the claims process easier for both you and the policyholder, this last year really netted results. And the gauge I have is how many complaints did we get from the insurance commissioner's office? Or how many media issues did we get? And you know what? Last year it was really quiet. 40,000 claims, commissioner's offices in all the states that were impacted. I would call them and say, "Have you heard any issues? Do you have any issues?" And on the flood side, almost zero. From the media, a couple articles, but very few compared to previous years. That tells me people, and another thing is Hurricane Florence, for the size of the disaster it was, we closed those claims faster than we've ever closed claims in a disaster that size. And when we did random quality control check, random claims quality checks, RCQCs, they came back really positive in terms of the accuracy. So not only were we efficient, but we were also accurate, right? And what I like is I asked the team that were doing these random quality checks to insert a question, just a simple question. How was your overall claims experience? And this is my favorite thing from last year. We did like 130 random quality control checks. And it came back that 90%, it was like 88% of people said their experience was excellent or good. Now, if you actually know and do some research in the customer surveying area, that is an exceptional number, that 9 out of 10 people would say, this was an overall good experience for me. Despite whether we gave them less money than they thought they would get or not. Folks came back, and you should read the comments. The adjusters were courteous, they were professional, they knew their things, they communicated, they walked through the processes. So those were just some of those comments back. So we're going to try to do more of that. We need to we can't get complacent. We need to keep our fingers, on the pulse of the policyholders. Are we doing a good job for them? Are we making it easier for them? Are we being quick, accurate, professional, courteous? All right? So we've done a lot. In 2018, we issued a new National Flood Insurance Program claims manual. Even I understand it. It's more plain language. It's got pictures in it, incorporates the bulletins from the past, including some of the best practice we introduced in the 2017 season, including the building valuation loss assessment, streamlining prior loss handling, and emphasizing larger advance payments. The new claims manual is going to allow us to issue timely updates, provide clarification of procedural processes, and serves as one trusted source for information to promote consistency in claims handling throughout the program. So we're really proud of that claims manual, and you'll learn some about it today. And it's a great guide. I carry it around with me whenever I get asked a question. It's easy to find areas in that manual to help answer questions. So we're also doing some other things. We're transforming to be more customer-centric, and over the next several years, what we're going to try to do is introduce new rates, new policy forms, things that will help both make it more intuitive to customers on what's covered and what's not, give them more choice, and provide rates that are more fair and equitable than they are perhaps, and more modern than they are today. So you guys should expect that to come. Additionally, we are going to implement Claims Journey 2.0, kind of the next phase of our claims journey. And part of that is we're going to do claim surveys for the first time. So the claim surveys provide a mechanism for FEMA to keep the pulse of the policyholder's overall claims experience. The new process will allow us to adjust and improve our processes quicker. So we'll get more real-time feedback from those policyholders, not after the fact, but during, so we can adjust course and provide you guys feedback as well. The random claims quality checks, the RCQCs, will continue. And we're going to evaluate quality and adherence to the NFIP guidelines. And we're also going to streamline what I just said. We're adding that customer service element for better feedback. And we want to share that back with you guys, so you're seeing where policyholders are saying, you know, that wasn't a great experience, or that person was exceptional. We're going to continue reducing our claims and appeals and litigation backlog, and provide more consistent and uniform messaging around those processes for both appeals and litigation. And I think it's imperative that you guys continue to explain the processes, coverages, and kind of setting expectations for the policyholder. So let's emphasize those things. We also have a customer kind of service guide that emphasizes our key values of compassion, fairness, integrity, respect, and diversity when dealing with customers. So just keep up that good work. We're re-emphasizing that, and we can't get complacent. So we're going to also review and redesign the claims forms. That's not only going to provide a better customer experience, but it's also going to streamline the adjusting process for you guys. And a big change this year is we're actually getting rid of our old 40-year-old mainframe. So I would imagine running a large insurance company and being able to push a button and find out how many claims we adjusted today, and how much we paid out, or how many policies we sold or renewed or lost, what our financial situation is. But we run a mainframe that runs a cycle, and it has a 2-month lag. So I can tell you what it was 2 months ago. The exciting news is we have a new system called Pivot. So this year we're going to cut over from this old mainframe to this new solution. And it's going to be cloud-based, real-time. It's going to allow us to do analytics. It's going to help us share better real-time information on how we're doing across the board in both claims and sales and renewals. I'm really excited about it. It's going to really open up the opportunity to use data to actually drive our program. So that's a big change for us this year. We're also going to try to, we need you guys. We need a good adjuster workforce, a trained one, a professional one, and for large events, we need a lot of you. So, as our policy base grows, we're going to have to increase the number of qualified and trained NFIP adjusters. In 2019, we're going to introduce the Flood Adjuster Capacity Program, the FACP, and the whole goal is to design to grow our adjuster workforce and set minimum training standards and qualifications for you guys. It creates a baseline of adjusters and a consistency of training. So to conclude, first thing I want to do is ask you to think about the best, most exceptional service you've gotten recently. So take a second. So I can tell you about one that I recently experienced. I have a 13-year-old, and she wanted contacts. So how many people wear contacts? If you've ever tried to put a little piece of plastic onto your eyeball for the first time, it's not easy. And it can get really frustrating, especially if you have teeny eyes like me. So my daughter, we take her in, we get these contacts, and there's a fitting. And this lady was exceptional. It took about an hour and a half. My daughter was starting to get frustrated. It wouldn't work. The eyelashes are in the way, the contacts folding. But the lady showed great patience. Described the process. You got to clean it if you drop it. You got to hold your eyelashes back. She said, take breaks. She was encouraging. She taught my daughter how to do it, not just did it for her. And it took an hour and a half. And I was getting anxious going, okay, this lady has other things to do, but she is solely focused on my daughter, right? And I left there, my daughter and I were actually talking about it. We wanted to hug the lady. And she made that experience really, really positive. So I have a son, and if he inherits my eyes, he's also one day going to get contacts. Where do you think I'm going to go? I'm going back to this lady, and I'm going back to this eye doctor. So I share that with you in that that's what I want from you guys. You guys do such a great job that someone says, gosh, you know, it stinks that I had to suffer through this blood loss, but I want these folks, and they did a great job, and I'm going to tell everyone about it. All right? So it's as simple as that. So that's one big ask from me. The second is really knowing our product and knowing the claims manual. That consistency is really important, because if two adjusters go to two different houses, and every case is a little bit unique, but if you don't know our claims manual and you don't know the process, it could be two very different experiences. So you represent us. Be prideful and professional. Really know our product is the second ask I have for you. The third is, I call it the Warren Buffett test because he talks about it all the time. And I haven't seen much of this, but I've seen a handful of cases like this. It's the Washington Post test or the USA Today test. It's the newspaper test. Don't do anything that you would be worried about is on the newspaper the next day, embarrassing you, your family, and the reputation of the National Flood Insurance Program, right? And if you're even close to doing that, think about that. The embarrassment it would cause you personally and your family, it hurts the brand of the National Flood Insurance Program. We've had to take corrective action on some cases where we see that, and we will take corrective action. So ethics, stay moral, stay professional through this. And I don't think I need to tell you guys that, but there were one or two cases last year where we had to work through that. And the fourth is, I think it's really important to understand why we do this. And I just want to thank you again, because why we do this and why it's a part of FEMA is because we're helping people. We're helping families before, during, and after disasters. And you should be able to tell, you know, I used to say, if you go to a party and someone says, what do you do for a living? You could say, I'm an adjuster. Or you could actually say, I help families. And you can actually legitimately say you help families. So if you're having a tough week, if you have a ton of claims to do that week, or if it's even a slow time, remember why we do this. And it will give you energy, because it does for me, why we do this. You impact a lot of lives in a very positive way. So last couple things. It's through your efforts that policyholders understand the value of their investment in purchasing flood insurance to protect their families and their businesses. You're the face of the National Flood Insurance Program. What you do every day supports the NFIP and has a direct impact on our success and helps instill confidence in the NFIP brand. Thank you for your continued commitment and service for us. I really appreciate it. So thank you guys.